All right, so this is page 2. So 6, this one's continued from the last page. Okay, you don't have any phase shifts here. You just have a vertical stretch by 2 and then a horizontal stretch by 2 because this is a half. So if you flip it, it'll be 2. That's the reciprocal. When you set up your table, okay, you're going to start at 0. You're going to end at the period. So my period was 4 pi. Because this is cosine, you're going to have your max. You start at your max, you end at your max. Okay, that's what happens for cosine. Halfway in between is going to be your minimum value, and then halfway in between those is going to be 0. Okay? And I graph it the same way. I start here, end here, count halfway, then connect with a curve. There are a couple things I want you to be careful of. Some people are accidentally going to put this going up, and that's wrong. Okay, you can't put this going up. It's not. It's coming back down this way. All right, so just be careful. Okay, and you can always like graph the other point out here so that you can connect it so that you don't make that mistake, but I want you to be careful of that. Okay, and then 7 and 8 are the phase shifts. When you have the phase shifts, okay, that means you're starting at your H value. So for the phase shifts that we've done, our B values have been 1 a lot, and our A values have been 1. Okay, so your amplitude is 1, your period is 2 pi. Your H value is the opposite of what you see, so negative pi over 4. This means you're going pi over 4 units left. So this is what you're filling in on your review today. Okay, this is something we'll look at again tomorrow. But even if the H is negative, when you're filling this in, you're just writing pi over 4 to the left. But you are starting with your H value. Okay? Once you start with your H value, that means we have to adjust the last value. So if your period is 2 pi, you're just doing 2 pi plus negative pi over 4. The result of that is 7 pi over 4. Okay? It's just pi over 4 to the left. Okay? And then because this is sine, you start at 0 and you end at 0. Then you have your max, and then you have your min. If the amplitude is 1, your max is 1, your min is negative 1. Okay? When you are setting up your equations, all you have to do is pick an x-intercept. Any x-intercept that you want. So for this one, I chose 3 pi over 4 plus pi n. You could do 7 pi over 4 plus pi n. You could do negative pi over 4 plus pi n. You could pick any x-intercept, but they occur every pi units. This is the length of pi, this is the length of pi. That's because for sine and cosine, they occur twice in a cycle. Okay? And then the maxima, again, just find one of your maxima. So I chose this one at pi over 4. These only occur once every period, so it's pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. And then my minima was at 5 pi over 4, so I just did 5 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. Okay, so you can always just find one of those values, add the period times n to it. Okay, and then we're actually going to do this step together for the next one. So amplitude is 1, period is 2 pi. Your H value here is positive pi over 4, so you're going pi over 4 units to the right. So when you calculate that, I did the pi over 4, the 9 pi over 4. This is cosine, so you start at your max and you end at your max. Halfway is your min. Okay, and then so what I did is just based on this alone, I chose to go by pi over 4s. Notice that I filled in these, but now I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in my zeros. So I have 3 pi over 4. Okay, which was one of my zeros. My other one was here at 7 pi over 4. So you can use your graph to get them, or you can add these together and divide by 2.
How did you get the period for 7 and
2 pi over b, and your b value is 1. So there's no value. See it for the x, it's 1.
I used H.
Oh, okay. Just a spoiler alert for these, we always have them 2 pi variation. So I tried to make them all so that it ends up doing that for you guys for these. I don't know.
It's
But if we've done that every single time, you know what I mean? Okay, so when you're doing the x-intercepts, okay, again, just pick any of them. I usually choose the first positive one, so this is at 3 pi over 4, so it's just 3 pi over 4 plus pi n, because they occur every pi. So from here to here is pi units. Negative pi over 4 to 3 pi over 4, that's 4 pi over 4, which is pi. Okay, and then we'll do the maxima. So the maxima, the value is 1, so it hits a 1 at pi over 4, so it's just pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. And then the minima, where do the minima occur? 5 pi over 4, so just 5 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n. Now, I always use the first positive value. You can use any place on your graph that has it, then I'll accept it. So if you wanted to use negative 3 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n for the minima, that's fine. If you wanted to use negative 7 pi over 4 plus 2 pi n for the maxima, that would be fine as well. Okay, so you can decide. Alright, and then for 9, you're going to use a sine function. When you're using the sine function, you start at 0, you end at 0, and the frequency was 1 over 0.002. Okay, you will have to know how to do this without your calculator. So remember, you just look and see what place it's in. Okay, the place, it'll either be the hundredths or the thousandths. Okay, so 2 over 1,000 multiplied by the reciprocal, 1,000 cut in half is 500. Okay, so then for this, when you are graphing, you have the start, you have the end, you have the middle. Halfway in between, you go to the max. Halfway in between, you go to the min. Okay, so this one has a lot of cycles in it, and that's okay. Alright, any questions for me on page 2? Any questions on page 2? Phase shifts? Applications?